and welcome to Shell Point Today for the weekend of November 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm Adam Brown. On today's show, Dr. Carol Clark of the Shell Point Medical Center visits with Michelle Tompkins to talk about a Health Connections class on the chronic health care management program available here. And we will recap the top stories from earlier this week. But first, we'd like to remind you of Saturday's Walk to Defeat ALS event. It's a great opportunity to come together for an important cause, raising money for a cure and bringing hope to people living with this disease. Join fellow residents and employees by lacing up your walking shoes and riding the bus to the Miramar outlets in Estero for a 1-mile walk. Court pickups begin on the island at 7 a.m., and you can sign up at either service desk. The gift shop, located on the island next to the guest house, has expanded its hours for the season. You can enjoy shopping for greeting cards, jewelry, handmade crafts, books, and much more from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Saturdays. Looking ahead to Monday, you can put your camera to use and enjoy an outing to the Naples Zoo. This is in conjunction with the Shell Point Photo Club. The zoo will open before their usual hours of operation just for us to take our time enjoying all the animals and exhibits, and of course, taking some great photographs. The cost of the outing is $27 with lunch on your own, and court pickups begin on the island at 7:15 a.m. Sign up or call either service desk for more information. And now let's listen to Health and Wellness Manager Michelle Tompkins and Dr. Carol Clark of the Shell Point Medical Center as they discuss the chronic healthcare management program now available and the Health Connections class coming next week that will introduce you to the people and places involved.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tompkins of Resort Services, and I'm here with Dr. Carol Clark to discuss a Health Connections program. Dr. Clark, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for asking.
So the program is entitled Care Coordinator of the Shell Point Medical Center, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the term Care Coordinator? It's something that we've heard often, but many of us may be a little confused as to what that means.
Well, we've started a new program as of August 1st this past summer that's called Chronic Care Management, and it's really a testimony of our partnership with Medicare to keep residents out of the hospital. As we know, the costs of health care are just rising so quickly that Medicare decided, we should reward the people who keep others out of the hospital. So there's some parameters that we use, and we get a little bit of reimbursement if we document certain things that we're doing. But we only get the reimbursement if the resident says we're allowed to receive it. So right now we have approximately 300 people signed up for the program, and Armando Faith is helping us with monitoring exactly how many minutes we spend with each resident. And he will actually be present at the seminar, and when you'll be able to ask him all the questions that you've wanted to ask. And we'll hope to help you understand how whether or not you sign up, you're still going to get the same quality of care. But if you sign up, it helps our bottom line.
Well, that's certainly something our residents can benefit from. You said this has been going on since August 1st.
Yes.
What's the response like here in our community?
Well, of the 300 people who have signed up, we've actively billed for probably about 50 of those. And if you knew those 50 people, they'd probably say we really have enjoyed getting the extra attention and the extra phone calls. We try to keep people from running out of their medications and getting into appointments, and if they forget, we try to get them back in. So it's a little extra attention.
What types of questions would residents have regarding this program?
What will make the difference if I sign up or if I don't?
It's a great one. What would make, without giving too much away, what would be a benefit for our residents, per se, for signing up for this program? The biggest benefit for them?
I would say if they could think back, it's like having snow tires or no snow tires if you live in Michigan.
That does make a lot of sense. So many of our residents, all of our residents, would you say, would benefit from maybe signing up, but also coming and listening to you speak about this?
Yes, it will be very informative.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing this with us, and don't give too much away. Please sign up to come to Dr. Carol Clark's program. It is in the Health Connection, November 8th at 10:15 in the Social Center. You won't want to miss out. Thank you so much.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello everyone and welcome to the weekend edition of the happenings at Shell Point TV. I'm Dora Robbins and I'm here to tell you about all the activities that are going to take place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to start on Friday at 8 o'clock with men's round robin tennis. That's at tennis courts at the Woodlands. Also at 8 o'clock is pickleball, and that's at the game court on the island. At 8:15 we have stamp ministry. Volunteers are welcome, and that's in the stamp room in the tunnel. At 8:30 we have Friday Marketplace, and that's at Administration Courtyard on the island from 8:30 to 11:30. At 9 o'clock we have Canasta and Samba, that's in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Also at 9 o'clock we have Holiday Bazaar, and that's going to be at the Woodlands Commons from 9 to 2. At 10 o'clock we have men's match play tennis at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. And at 10:15 it's Inquiring Minds, and that'll be in the Manatee Room in the tunnel. Also at 10:15 is the Model Yacht Sailing Club, and that's at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands. At 10:30 it's Suzy Q, and they're headed off to Pinter's Crab Shack. Sign up is required. At 12:45 it's a Health Connection, Zumba Gold Fitness, and that's in the Health Club. Sign up is required. At 1 o'clock it's Diabetes Group Appointment, that's in the Social Center on the island. And at 1:15 we have Advanced Table Tennis, that's in the Tarpon Room on the island. And at 1:15 it's the Quilters, and they're in the Offspring Room on the island. At 1:30 we have a Health Connection, Strength and Conditioning, that's at the Health Club on the island, and sign up is required. At 1:30 we have Vespers, and that's in the Community Room in the Arbor. At 2 o'clock we have Bid Euchre, and that's at the Sable Room at the Woodlands. And at 2:15 we have Health Connection, Causes and Treatments for Secondary Glaucoma, and that's in the Social Center on the island. Sign up is required. Also at 2:15 it's Water Volleyball, and that's at the Life Quest Aquatic Center on the island. At 2:30 we have Cantata Rehearsal, and that's in the choir room. At 2:30 we have our second Vespers, and that's in the Community Room at King's Crown. At 2:45 we have Great Decisions, and that's in the Manatee Room in the tunnel. At 3:15 we have the Ballroom Dance Group, and that's in the Health Club on the island. At 3:30 we have our third Vesper, and that's at the Springs. At 6:30 it's Let the Shows Begin. It's Irma Bombeck at Wits Ends, and that's going to the Florida Repertory Theater. It leaves the island at 6:30, the Woodlands at 6:45, and 7 o'clock for Eagles Preserve in the estuary. Sign up is required. And the last activity for Friday is 6:45 game night, and that's at the Resident Activity Center. And for Saturday, we're going to start at 7 o'clock with a Health Connections Walk to Defeat ALS. The bus leaves the island at 7, 7:10 at the Woodlands, and 7:20 at Eagles Preserve and the estuary. Sign up is required for that. At 8 o'clock, we have pickleball, and that's at the game court on the island. We also have at 8 o'clock round robin tennis, and that's at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. At 9 o'clock we have Holiday Bazaar, and that's in the Woodlands Commons from 9 to 2. At 9:30 we have men's and women's double tennis, and that's at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. We have duplicate bridge in the Manatee Room at 9:45. And at 1 o'clock we have chess, and that's in the Library Lounge. At 1:15 we have table tennis, and that's in the Tarpon Room in the tunnel. And the last activity for Saturday is at 3:15, and it's basic line dancing, and that's at the Health Club on the island. For Sunday, we're going to start at 9 o'clock, and it's Christian Life Studies, and that's at the Village Church. We have morning worship at the Village Church at 10:15, and that's broadcast live on Shell Point TV, Channel 13. Then we're going to go to 4:15, and it's Latin Size Dance Group, and that's in the Health Club on the island. And the last activity for Sunday is at 6:15, and it's evening service at the Village Church. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back here next week.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is coconut shrimp with yellow rice and Caribbean vegetables. For dinner, they feature their seafood buffet for $17.95. The soup of the day is Manhattan clam chowder. In the Island Cafe, the sandwich special on Friday is a barbecue pork sandwich with coleslaw and fries for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are shrimp and grits for $15.95 or Florida lobster for $22.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe on Saturday, the sandwich special is a hot beef pastrami on a Kaiser with potato salad for $7.95. In the Palm Grill on Saturday, you can have prime rib for $20.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $16.25. In the Island Cafe on Sunday, the sandwich special is your choice of a hot dog or a hamburger with potato salad, watermelon, and ice cream for $7.95. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to the Village Church Connections. I'm Don Pullen, and with me today is David Pavey. Hey, David.
How do you do?
Doing well. We're going to be talking about the services that are coming up this weekend at the Village Church.
Yes, we're looking forward to that because it's a very special weekend. This is what we call the Fall Focus weekend, and the focus is on missions. And we're very happy this year. The Missions Committee has worked pretty hard on this. We're bringing a couple all the way from Sacramento, California, Rayad and Manar Awabde.
Okay.
Been working on that.
There you go.
He's a Syrian, was born in Syria, came here as a student, and developed a mission to a whole ministry to people from his country and other Arab-speaking people. And they operate in Sacramento, California. They have a center there, and they're also active in local churches telling about what's going on back in the old country. So we're absolutely riveted on this weekend. The Sunday morning at 10:15 and Sunday evening at 6:15, they will be making their presentations. Sunday morning is also special because it's the first Sunday in the month. And what happens on the first Sunday in the month?
Communion.
Communion.
That's right, the table of the Lord.
Yes, so that's a special time. And then it's not over on Sunday. On Monday, we have the Academy presentation where they will be speaking and available for questions. And I think that's going to be of special interest to the broader Shell Point community because we're all upset and concerned about what's happening in Aleppo and Damascus and so many other cities in Syria. To get some first-hand information will be very good. And
this refugee issue is important in our country as well because there's an increasing number of refugees that are coming to our country, and the challenge that brings and the opportunity as well to share the love of Christ with people. 5
million people have left Syria as refugees since the recent crisis there. So it's a very significant number and a great movement of people. So there's going to be another opportunity to interact with the Awabdes on Monday evening at the Social Center at 7:15. 7:15 at the Social Center. And that'll be a question and answer time when we can talk informally and really find out more about what's going on in the Middle East.
People will really be able to pick their brains a little bit and maybe attack it from a little different angle than they would normally, than they would just listening to them in a service.
Yeah, I think so, and that's the idea. So we're grateful to them for coming all this way to speak to the Village Church and the broader Shell Point community, and I think it's going to be a great weekend.
Great, great, great. So we hope to see you on Sunday. The two services that we have, 10:15 in the morning, 6:15 in the evening, where the Awabdes will be speaking, and then on Monday evening, 7:15 at the Social Center. Have a great week.
And now let's cover the top stories from earlier this week. Fitness supervisor Hannah Hosterman and instructor Anna Valle returned to recap some of the ongoing fitness classes you can still take advantage of now through March of 2017. It's not too late to join in on the fun and get in shape before the holidays, during, and especially after. You know, the time when the New Year's resolutions usually happen and, well, you decide to get back in shape.
Hi, I am Hannah Hosterman, fitness supervisor here at Shell Point, and today I would like to introduce our new fitness coordinator, Anna Valle. So Anna, you will be doing some personal training here and teaching some classes. Can you tell everyone what credentials you have in personal training, what experience you have?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I am certified through the Athletics and Fitness Association of America and National Association of Sports Medicine. That's a lot of words, but those are some of the most well-respected certifying organizations, as you already know.
Certainly.
And so I do have credentials in personal training, and I have credentials in group exercise as well.
Awesome.
Yes, and I enjoy both.
Great. And Anna, can you tell us about the couple of classes you'll be teaching in the new Health Connections starting October 3rd and 4th?
Yes.
Tell me about the Pilates class.
Yes. So we're calling it Pilates Fusion.
Okay.
And it will be very much like a traditional Pilates class that maybe folks have already experienced in their past. But I'm putting a little something extra in there, which is why we're calling it Pilates Fusion.
Great.
I'm excited about it because I'm going to weave in some standing work in with some mat work. We're going to change it up just a little, just to add some variety. And that's on Mondays at 3 p.m.
And now tell me about the ballet fit class you'll be teaching.
So this is something new here at Shell Point, and I'm excited, Hannah, that we've been putting it in.
Right.
So starting in October, every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:45 p.m. And what we're going to do is use classical ballet as our foundation for the class.
All right.
It will be a fitness class, but it really will be a lot of classical ballet background. And you know, the nice thing about ballet work is it promotes grace. There is opportunity for expression, for joy, and for dance. But you don't have to have any dance experience to be a
Wonderful.
part of the class.
No experience is needed for this ballet fit class, so everyone is welcome to join.
That's right.
Well, great. Thank you, Anna, for stopping here today and introducing yourself. I look forward for everyone to meet Anna Valle, our new fitness coordinator.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Hannah. But I understand that you are teaching a class coming with the new Health Connections as well.
That's correct. We finally get to teach Yoga Fit starting October 4th. It's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 3:45 to 4:30. This Yoga Fit class is different from the traditional yoga. We will be going through traditional yoga poses. This class is meant for anyone. If you've never had yoga before, if you're experienced, everyone knows that you can just go at your own pace and do what you're capable of doing. We do have the ballet bars if you need assistance. You can use a chair if you're not comfortable with getting on the floor. And you can also use the yoga mat for the ones that are comfortable getting on and off the floor.
So, Hannah, how is Yoga Fit a little bit different from traditional yoga classes?
So Yoga Fit is different because there is no meditating going on in this yoga class. It's yoga for exercise. Like I said, you can use the ballet bars, you can use the mats, and you can use the chairs. Everyone is welcome to try it, and you can work at your own level, and it's great for residents, for all ages.
And what about the benefits of yoga? Because some people may never have tried yoga.
Right.
And they might be wondering, you know, what would it benefit me?
It's great for everyone because we're going to focus on the flexibility. We're going to focus on the strength and definitely focus on that core strength and really learn how to get into those positions and hold those positions. That's what we're really going to focus in on this Yoga Fit class.
That sounds great. It's going to be a great October through April for Health Connections.
Definitely. We are looking forward to it.
Yes.
Last week, the first event was held in the all-new club at Shell Point. The annual thrift store fashion show held nothing back as they presented a most entertaining and delightful event. The outfits were stunning, and even some were quite the showstopper. Attendees were treated to a delicious meal prepared by the club chef, and even had the opportunity to purchase clothing after the show. In case you missed it, we thought we'd bring you a few highlights.
were also purchased. Holiday is Straw Hat Day, which is May 15th. Erica is our thrift store manager, imported from India.
The lovely scallop short sleeves accent the style. This beautiful silk for early saints named Valentinus and is recognized as a significant cultural and commercial celebration to $25. The purple and black bow tie, also sold at the thrift store, can be yours for $2. Robert has paired this look with a long sleeve. National Chocolate Day is observed annually on October the 28th. Wear green on that day or have some type of shamrock on their clothing. Joan Cox is modeling a pair of pleated front green slacks by Fundamental Things. That famous holiday every February 2nd, where the city digitized as our model in this representation of Groundhog Day. Our model, Don Masterson, works daily at Shell Point picking up donations for the event. She looked beautiful. At this time, we are going to Our holiday is formal, Christmas, or New Year's Eve. This is a great dress. It is casual, fit look. It's perfect for any Flag Day parade or celebration. And little suspenders both have smiley faces and on the jacket. Wearing my dress and forty. These are made from fabric, felt, straw, and velvet are used for today. This white rainy cotton sweater you have on out here will be wrapped in silver. Any money today will go on your monthly statement. So that's going to be really exciting for all of us.
So, how was the show in the new facility?
Amazing, fantastic, a little overwhelming, but very exciting. I think it went really, really well. I'm just pleased with everyone and everyone who participated from the ground up.
Looks great. Nice to have all this room, huh?
Yes, it's just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much, Shell Pointers.
What'd you think of the first event in the clubhouse?
Oh, it was wonderful. We really enjoyed it. Everything was special. It's a lovely place. We're honored to be here, and it was a fun program. Thank you so much.
Everything, every part of it was just great, and the place was wonderful, food was wonderful, and the whole day was just fantastic.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you, it was great. And not only was it a great day and a great feast, but it was fun, too. That's the best part.
How did you enjoy the fashion show today?
Oh, loved it.
Yes?
I loved it. The luncheon was wonderful. It really was. And then to see.
How about this new room?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I came before to see it, and it's just, I'm waiting for it to open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Good.
Thank you. Here with the bargain hunters. We have some bargain hunters here. What are you finding? Finding any good stuff?
Yes, and lots of pretty jackets. Look at the seasonal things.
How about that? You can't beat the prices, huh?
No.
The hats have landed. Marge, did you find a hat you can't live without?
What do you think? Do you think David would
I
like
think
this?
that's you.
He might want to just cook it up for something.
I really like the spider web. I think it's a great Halloween hat.
Well, I think you should try it on.
I don't know. That's pretty scary. What do you think? It's like a Batman? Could I be Batman?
Does that
Batwoman.
does that right?
That works. Oh, yeah. Do you have a Halloween party you need to go to?
No, I don't.
Well, you should need to find one.
I think so because this is
I mean, it's worth finding a party just to wear that hat.
it has character all of its own, doesn't it?
Do we find some faux mink? Is that what we got going on here?
Well, let's see. Well,
Or is it real?
I think it's real, but
Is it really?
the lining, the fancy
Uh-oh.
lining.
We have to be able to say no animals were harmed in the making of this television program. It works on you, I have to say that.
For these cool rooms.
They died for a good cause.
Well, yes, that's true.
Looks like we got a rhinestone cowgirl here.
You do have a rhinestone
Oh, my goodness,
cowgirl
look
here.
at that hat. That's crazy cool. So, I think you had a big success today. What do you
I
think?
think it was a big success, and part of that success is to this lady who I want to bring into the camera.
right.
This is Jean Hannon.
All right,
This
Jean,
is-
thank you so much.
Hi, Dan. You're very welcome. We had fun. It was
Wonderful day. Everybody we talked to just loved it all.
Yeah, this is Jean and my 6-year fashion show.
Wow.
And we were so pleased to have it at the club this year and offer, a sit-down meal. We're very excited about it. As a matter of fact, we even talked about the theme for next year in the hallway as
You're
we were
already
waiting.
working on it. Show's not even over. They're already
No.
working on next year.
No. Anyway, I want to thank all the people that volunteered today, all the volunteers at the thrift store, and for everybody that shops and donates to the thrift store, because we couldn't have this unless people donated the goods to the store. So we
Absolutely.
really appreciate that.
It's a win-win all the way around.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Shell Point.
It's time to put on an apron, roll up our sleeves, and get in the kitchen for some tasty recipes. Well, no, we don't actually have to do that. Ruth Duber is going to do all the work for us while we just sit and watch. But who knows? Perhaps it will inspire you to tackle one of her recipes on your own. But stay right here for now and let's watch this week's What's Cooking at Shell Point once again.
Hello, I'm Ruth Duber, and this is What's Cooking at Shell Point. And I have a guest with me today. And I happen to know from something I've heard that she's a fabulous cook. And she sent me a recipe the other day. And she hasn't been on camera before, so we're going to work together and get this done, because she didn't want to have to talk. We're making cheesy scallops and pasta. And this is for 2 people. So this is a ½ pound of scallops. And you can get these at Fresh Market. I saw Publix had them the other day. But, you get them. And when you get them at Fresh Market, you can get them frozen so that you can take them home, put them back in your freezer, and then use them whenever you want. Isn't that what you do? You buy
Yes,
a pound?
I do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure you buy the small scallops, the bay scallops, not the big ones.
Yeah, the bay scallops. And I guess, some of them are native to Florida, so.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the stove, and we're going to use a tablespoon of celery, it's chopped, and a tablespoon of onion. And she brought it over, so I didn't have to do that. So, alrighty.
Where do you want this that's easy for you?
You just set them right there.
Right here.
Okay. Oh. Okay. This is a tablespoon of
It's actually
just a
2
vegetable oil.
tablespoons of each.
Pardon?
2 tablespoons of each.
Oh, yes, of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 tablespoons of
So
celery.
she did all the work for me. How about that? Have my own sous chef here. Okay. So we will, let's use this one. So how long do we want to cook this?
Just till they're tender, just a little bit tender.
A little softened, okay. All righty. And a ½ cup of milk. Now I have found the hard way that if you just go ahead, dump all the milk into the flour, you have a mess. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of the milk. You want to give this a little stir there, Karen?
Yeah, and it's a good idea to have extra milk on hand because sometimes it thickens up more than you really want it to.
But we don't want any lumps. So I'll mix this. Add a little more milk. As I say, I've learned the hard way and made the sauce, and it was full of lumps. So we don't want that to happen here.
Thickens pretty quickly.
And you really have to pay attention to this. Look how quickly it cooks up. Now the beauty of this is it doesn't take the scallops very long to cook. So
It's gotten already.
Uh-huh,
We
right.
could put a little more milk in there just.
okay, you want to add the milk or you want to add some wine?
Oh, I'll do a little bit.
Might do both. Okay. Now we did rinse the scallops. I guess it's up to you. But we did rinse those.
Now you just cook these until you can tell by looking at them that they're...
Do you ever put a lid on it or not?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I guess you could, I guess. It's a really quick and easy meal to put together for just two people.
Yeah. In fact, with my appetite now, it might work for 3 people.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I need to turn it up just... I think that probably ought to be about right. Got a little bit of white wine here.
Now, when you think that's ready, I'm going to zap my pasta just a little bit.
I think you can zap it.
Are they done?
Mine's a tender. It's good.
Looks good. Wonderful.
The wine gave it just the right taste.
I'll tell you what they say, good cooks always taste. And I'm not real good at that, so.
I'm not easy.
Okay. Looks good. Put a little bit more on. Okay. Now, we need a ladle.
I forgot to put the cheese.
We'll take it back over there to finish it up. Yeah. Okay.
You're ready to go.
And here you go. There's your cheese, and there's the parsley.
There it is.
That is beautiful, Sean.
Looks
Thank
pretty
you so
with the
much.
You're welcome.
I'll put this up on the website, and I hope you'll try it. And we'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Next week, there will be an interesting academy class presented by Reverend Raed Awabde, the pastor of the Arabic Church of Sacramento. He will talk about current efforts by the church to minister to Middle East refugees who enter the U.S., special challenges in helping families, and the brokenness that comes with strife-ridden displacement and adapting to life in the U.S. will be the focus of this presentation. This week, Terry Colath, along with Pastor Andy Hawkins of the Village Church, brought us more insight.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Colath. I'm here today with Pastor Andy Hawkins, senior pastor of our own Village Church. And the reason I'm with him is because the Village Church is sharing with the Academy to bring us a program open to everyone at Shell Point. We hope you'll join us. Thank you for joining me, Pastor Andy.
It's my pleasure.
Well, I love the fact that every time you have Missions Week, so far, you've shared with the entire community a focused look at something that seems so important. How do you plan to have year after year these programs that mean so much to what's going on in the world today?
I'm not sure that we do all that much planning. I think the Lord does a lot of the planning because He puts sort of people in our path at the right time in the right place. This started actually nearly a year ago when we had a couple who've been working in the Middle East for many, many years, Daryl and Cheryl Fennessy, and they came to our Christmas, sort of a Christmas event that was sponsored by our women's organization at the Village Church, and they were transitioning to go to Germany and work with Middle Eastern refugees. Of course, that's been hot on the news, and the Village Church had been investing in that ministry. In fact, the year before, we actually gave about $100,000 to the relief arm of the Christian and Missionary Alliance that was used in the sort of refugee highway to provide sort of material support and then also to provide support for pastoral care for refugees when they get to Germany. And so the Fennesseys were working with those resources. So we're very interested in that topic. Sure. And so we asked them, who do you think would really be good to come and speak to us about just caring for refugees from the Middle East, what the issues are, those kinds of things. And they mentioned Raed and Manar Awabdeh, who live in Sacramento but are Syrian in their background.
Well, I can remember starting in the Vietnam era when all these horrible things came into our living rooms by television, and now we're seeing this march of refugees. And it seems overwhelming. And to think that you do one person at a time.
That's exactly right. And that's what has happened. And I think, fortunately or unfortunately, this is coming right before an election in which one of the key issues has been immigration policy, how to sort of manage the refugee issue and problems. Those kinds of issues are very important and real, and certainly our politicians need to find reasonable solutions to try to address those issues. They have their level of concern, but the church has its level of concern, and we care about refugees. They are made in God's image, and we are caring about them. And we also want to make sure that we understand the differences between a refugee issue and the immigration issue. There's really two different things. But the Awabdehs, I think, will help us sort those things out, particularly in this academy class, because they are deeply invested in the lives of many people who come from the Middle East, and both immigrants as well as refugees.
And they're going to be coming.
That's right.
The more we know about how to make it as seamless and smooth as possible, and also to see how someone opens their heart that way.
That's right.
You know, how do you open your heart when you say, love your neighbor as yourself? Yeah. Who is our neighbor, and how do we get to know them?
That's right. Well, the Awabdehs work in a church. It's actually the Arabic Christian Church, which is associated with our denomination, with the Christian and Missionary Alliance. And Raed is the pastor of that church. But he's also the director of the Arab American Learning Center. And what that does is it provides services for probably 400 or 500 every month Middle Eastern either refugees or immigrants. And one of the main issues or problems has to do with integration in our society. I think that's the kind of issue that we see that is problematic in Europe, in which you really don't have very good integration in most places, and it causes some problems. Well, that's exactly what the Awabdehs are doing. They're teaching these folks the kinds of skills in terms of how to adapt to American life. They're learning English as a result of this learning center. They're learning how to drive. They're learning how to set up a bank account. They're learning how to find reasonable employment. Those kinds of issues they're assisting. In fact, they're even teaching their children Arabic, so they don't get lost in terms of their cultural background. So they're teaching English to the parents and sometimes teaching Arabic to the children who are obviously going to school in English-speaking schools, so that they won't lose that kind of cultural connection either. So they're doing the kinds of things that are extremely important, and they're doing it because they love these people, because they love Christ, and that's the driving force behind it.
Fabulous. Well, once again, we thank you. We hope that you will take this opportunity to hear from people on the front line of the crisis situation that we have with refugees from the Middle East. Join us on Monday, November 7th, 10 a.m., Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Please sign up at either service desk. Thank you.
The pros at Finemark Bank talked this week about what happens when you lose a loved one and the steps financially that you need to take. They are here on the island to offer support and help you navigate through estate planning, investments, beneficiaries, and more. Jessica Stillwell-Caddy, along with Anna Smith and Dennis Lanfried, spent some time in our studio to talk about this sensitive and all-important subject.
Hello, I'm Jessica Stillwell-Caddy with Finemark National Bank and Trust, and today we are talking about what happens when you lose a loved one and what steps you may need to take. And joining me to talk about that is Managing Executive of Finemark on the Island, a familiar face, Anna Smith, and one of our private wealth advisors, Dennis Lanfried. And We have done a seminar out here, presentation several times, Suddenly Single, and Anna, it's a lot of people have attended those, and just talk about why and what happens.
Well, I think here on the island we have such a unique perspective into our clients and residents. We are right in the hub of everything. We see them on a daily, regular basis. We're aware of what's happening in their lives, whether we get that information from the resident website. So we know when someone has passed away. We know when they've lost a loved one. So we can be that emotional shoulder that they need to help them begin to navigate. And so Suddenly Single really touches on that. What happens when you lose your spouse? What do you do next? Who do you go see? And so that's really what we provide.
And Dennis, there are so many issues that probably you don't think about until something happens, whether it's death or incapacity.
Yeah, it can be very complicated. And you know, what we run into often is that with many couples, one or the other is the financial person, and 50% of the time that financial person passes away first, leaving the survivor to navigate a very complicated estate plan, maybe very complicated investments. They've got retitling to do with Anna, beneficiaries they have to deal with now, an estate settlement process. So it can be very, very daunting to surviving spouses that really are not familiar with how all this stuff works.
And Anna, one thing I know you suggest is go slow. I think that
Absolutely.
When people think that they have to make all these decisions all at once, right, when something happens, and that could be the worst time to make a decision.
Absolutely. One of the things that I see most frequently is that the surviving spouse rushes into the bank or shows up with children, and my spouse just died, I need to do this. And we always say, take a step back. Really, you don't want to do this right now. It doesn't have to be done right away. Take your time. First, deal with your emotions and those things that are immediate, burial arrangements, etc., and getting through that process. Then, let's sit down rationally and more calmly and talk about the next steps, because inevitably, if you do something, it's going to be the wrong decision, particularly when it comes to account retitling.
And another thing, I know that oftentimes the spouse is the trustee, and then it becomes overwhelming because you may not really know what that entails until it happens. And I know FindMark can act as a third party.
Yeah, we're a professional trustee and a professional executor or personal representative here in Florida. So we do this every day. And so in many instances, clients, children of clients or surviving spouses end up as trustee or personal representative in a role that's very complex, and we get the phone call that says, I don't know what to do, help. And so they do have the ability, they could hire us as agent for them to kind of take them by the hand and guide them through this very complicated process.
And I think the overlying message is you don't have to do it alone.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And one thing I know, Anna, and I know you deal with this so much and you hear so many stories that are heartbreaking, are the scams and the people who are trying to take advantage of people, and especially at their most emotional point of their lives.
And that's it. They're so vulnerable right now, and they really aren't thinking clearly. And you hear stories from people, perusing the newspaper to look at obituaries, to try to get information about families. And they really prey on the elderly and on those emotional needs. And people will make, bad choices. And so you don't want to do it alone. You want to be very careful and be aware that those type of people exist, unfortunately.
Well, thank you both for talking about this today. It's an important topic, and if anyone has any questions, of course, you can always go and see Anna at FindMark on the Island, or you can give her a call at 461-5999, 461-5999. Thank you both for being here. I'm Jessica Stillwell-Caddy with FindMark National Bank and Trust. Have a great day, everyone.
And that's going to bring this weekend edition of Shell Point Today to a close for November 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm Adam Brown, thanking you for spending time with us today. and we trust you'll have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Goodbye, everyone.